So I'm sitting in on a gig. Okay, this is not my band. Okay, my band is called Blues in Babylon. So if you want, before I start doing anything, if you want to check out my band, I'm going to put a description so you can see where I'm coming from as a musician. Okay? Before you go, where's this guy? Get off doing, where does this guy, look and see. Just browse through it, watch it for 5 seconds. I don't care. Okay? I'm sitting in on this gig. A friend of mine calls me, texts me, and says, hey man, these guys need a guitar player. So I go, okay. So they have a 4 set list, 60 songs, whatever. I learn their songs. I show up at the gig. On time, of course, but I show up at the gig. Now, first off, the bar is small. Okay, and that's not the bar's fault. It's not the band's fault. It's just part of the nightmare scenario here. Okay, and there's a post right here. So the end of the bar, and then there's a post right here, and you have to stand behind the post because there's a pool table right in front of the band where people are shooting pool, and if you're too close, they'll hit you with the pool cue. So we have to stay behind this post. And there's literally this much area. There's just enough room for an amp and for you to stand in front of it. That's it. Okay. Now, what is the bar's fault is the PA system. So you're on one side of the bar, the PA's on the other side of the bar facing you. And the speakers are separated in each corner of the bar. So you've got a PA for vocals that's on the other side of you, split all the way in between the room. One speaker here, one speaker all the way over there. So you got your drums, you got your amps, and then you got your vocals all the way over there. Now, luckily enough, the drummer was playing an electric drum kit. Luckily. That's part of the nightmare scenario, man. The guy shows up with an electric drum kit from like 1995, which, not judging, but I mean. So I go, why don't we plug everything into the PA, right? I have a line out in the back of my amp. I used a Fender Cyber Twin for the show. I have a line out the back of my amp and plug the bass in directly into the board, singer into the board, electronic drums into the board, and then we'll have all of our sound coming from over there. We'll have literally zero stage volume, which, wasn't a bad scenario, except the guy closest to the board had no idea how to set the tones, okay? Now, in this band, there's a singer, bass player, drummer, and a rhythm guitar player. Now, the rhythm guitar player is a professional guy by day. He works, right? He's not a good guitar player. He's only been playing for about 2 years, and he's not that good. And I'm here to tell you, okay, once again, watch my video. Where do I get off saying this? Watch my video, man. Okay. And I've been a guitar teacher. I know when someone's good. Okay. Or competent on guitar, can get around on guitar. Okay. Can make a guitar sound good. All right. I kept wondering if the guy's out of tune. So I said, check your tuning, man. He was in tune. I saw the tuner, but he was grabbing the chords like this. And every time he grabbed the chord, it caused his guitar to go out of tune. So for beginners, you want to push down on the strings. You want to push down. You don't want to grab it. You want to push down on the strings. You don't want to pull them. He's pulling them like this when he's playing a chord. He's pulling it, causing it to go out of tune. So everything we're playing is slightly out of tune. Everything. And the guy is not that good to start off with. That's not a good combo. That is not a good combo. So we're set up in this area, this small area. I want to say it's like 6x4, 6 feet wide 6 feet long by like 4 feet, maybe 8 feet long by 4 feet wide, crammed in there. PA's on the other side of the room. Guitar player doesn't know what he's doing. The singer is a singer because he likes attention. He's not a good singer. He's not a trained vocalist. He's not a vocalist that's really put too much time into his work on pitch. He's up front because he wants people to see him. He's up front because he wants to be noticed. He wants to be the center of attention. Okay? Now they tell me, look, what we're going to do is, since our guitar player sings some of these songs, we're going to have to stretch out the other songs. So, by the way, I learned a whole bunch of songs I didn't have to because the guitar player sang them. They didn't tell me which one those were. Okay. So they go, we're going to have to stretch out the songs. I go, fine, no problem. They go, can you do some extra, long leads? I go, yeah, no problem. I can improvise all day long. So we start playing the first song, and I'm improvising a solo, right? And I'm right in the middle of the solo, right? My solos are crafted so there's a beginning, an intro, a middle, and then there's a climax to the solo, and then you go back to the song. So I'm right in the middle of the solo, just kind of building it up, and the singer comes in. Singer just starts singing over the top of me. And I'm like, so now we already sound bad enough, but now, the solo's getting cut short in the middle of what it is. So it sounds like, I don't even know what I was doing. And I'm like, huh. So I'm like, hey, dude, look, I'll nod at you. I'll look at you and nod when I'm done soloing, right? So the next song, I rip on a solo. It's, a fairly long solo. They said, stretch the stuff out. Stretched it out. And then the next song, the guy makes a joke, makes a quip, makes a little stab at me like, okay, here comes another 4-minute solo. Because once again, he wants all the attention. It's not about how good or bad the solo was. It's not about how the solo or my part may have lifted the song. It's not about stretching out time. It's about him being noticed and me taking away from that. So I'm like, man. So I'm playing these solos. I'm getting cut off constantly. We're playing these songs. The guitar player doesn't know them, and he's playing out of tune every song with just a horrific tone. Bass player couldn't care less. I mean, this bass player was just. I looked directly at him during one of the songs, like looked straight at him, like, hey, guy was completely blank like this. I mean, no emotion, no enthusiasm, nothing, zero. Then they go, hey, Tennessee Whiskey? I go, yeah, no problem. So we start playing Tennessee Whiskey. It's in 6/8, 3/4, 6/8, whatever you want to call it. and the drummer is playing it in 4/4. So you're hearing this guitar player next to me, right, who can barely play, struggling through to get the chording of Tennessee Whiskey and the little lick that goes in between it. And then you're hearing a drummer playing in a different time signature. And then you're hearing the singer who can't sing trying to sing like Chris Stapleton in the song. Train wreck. I mean, absolute train wreck. And I kept telling the drummer, it's in 6/8. Hey, buddy, it's in 6/8, man. He didn't get it. And so there was a certain point where the singer goes to me, do we do a verse here? I go, just end it, just cut it right now. I mean, let's get out of this thing. Then later I asked the drummer, well, the song was in 6/8. He's like, what does that mean? I go, the song's in 6/8, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I go, do you know what 6/8 is? He goes, no. This guy's been drumming for 20 years, 30 years probably. And no offense, you don't have to know what 6/8 is if you know how to create the feel. Like, you might be playing in 6/8 and not know what it is. He wasn't doing that. He was playing in 4/4 and had no idea what 6/8 was. And all these guys, they're all in their 50s. They're all old. They've been playing music for 20 plus years. And it's like, at what point do you just stop? At what point do you quit? At what point do you just stay home? It's one thing if you're in your basement, if you're in your studio and you're playing this stuff, fine. Mess it up all you want. Hack it up, rip it up, practice it up, whatever. I have no judgments, none. But when you're in front of an audience and you are getting paid money to entertain that audience, and you are just hacking it up, I mean, just mangling a song, just have a horrible sound quality, you cannot use proper technique, and you sound like you're playing out of tune. Just stay home, man. Like, seriously, just stay home. Just stay home. So anyway, this gig goes on for 3 hours. Like, we're doing a 3-hour gig. And this is a type of band where it's like you stop playing a song and you're embarrassed. Like, it's embarrassing. It's not like, is anybody going to clap? It's like embarrassing when you finish the song. And the singer is using a lyric book. After singing for 20 years, 30 years, the guy still got to use a lyric book on simple classic rock songs. I mean, how hard is it to learn Can't Get Enough of Your Love? Brown Sugar by the Rolling Stones. Jumping Jack Flash. The guy's got a notebook full of lyrics that he's looking at the whole time while he's quote unquote singing. So anyway, it was a complete nightmare scenario. And I am never going to play with this band again. Ever. I survived. I'm alive. But like I said, my whole point is, why don't you just quit? Why don't you just stop playing music? You're taking up a lot of air for somebody else who could be in there entertaining a crowd, for real. You're taking up the air when somebody else, a younger band, a better band, any other band, could be in there playing in tune, knowing the material, being enthusiastic about their work. It's like, at what point do you just quit playing? And for these guys, that point is right now. And they were talking about a gig. They were talking about a gig they had. Oh, I like that venue. Yeah. The drummer's like, yeah, we got that gig because my sister's boyfriend worked there at the venue, and that's how we got the gig. I go, oh, how'd it go? He goes, well, he got demoted, and now we can't, you have to send in material so they know what you sound like before you show up there. So this band played there, right? Possibly got the guy who got him to the venue demoted, and then got the new person that has the position to require bands submit material so they can hear them first. That's how bad this band is. At what point do you just quit? Like I said, these guys are in their 50s and 60s. At what point do you just quit? So that's the nightmare gig that I had last night. And like I said, I will not be playing with this band again. Absolutely not.